Turns can be challenging, and unprotected lefts are one of the most challenging turns. Every turn begins with a smog, which is signal, check your mirror, over your shoulder, and then go. Do not enter your turn lane unless you have finished your mirror and shoulder first. It would be an automatic fail if you did that. Look ahead right away to see if you have an arrow. If you have an arrow, that means that your intersection is protected. However, in this situation it's a circle and we have to wait for approaching cars and pedestrians. If there is a pedestrian waiting to cross, you must wait behind the line until both their feet reach the other side. Always continue to scan intersections when waiting for a green light. When your light turns green, you want to wait behind the line until you know you can make it through the intersection in one swoop. If for any reason you are unsure, it's recommended you do not go. Only start going if you're positive it's clear. And just before entering the intersection, double check for pedestrians and make sure there is no oncoming traffic. If waiting for a line of cars, make sure there is a big gap between two of the cars before going. And if the second car has to brake or slow for you to make your turn, then that would be an automatic fail for cutting off. In this situation, it is okay to go. We've checked for pedestrians, and the truck across from us is also turning. We know this because he has signaled and he's already started his turn. We would not just trust the signal. Now when this happens and you hesitate, it's a safer bet if you just wait behind the line until you know it is very clear. And on every turn, make sure you look up the road for any parked cars that may be pulling out or pedestrians that may be jaywalking. One trick to make imperfect left turns is to hug the center yellow line. Do not run it over on your way, and make sure you stay close to it as you finish your turn. This way you will not cut the turn or take it too wide. Remember, before pulling into your turn lane, always do your smog check. Signal, check your mirror and blind spot early, and then start maneuvering into the turn lane. You do want to enter your turn lane, however, before the solid white line. It helps to smog early, that way you'll have more time to diagnose the intersection. Here, on this left, we looked late and we didn't get into our turn lane soon enough. Always position yourself appropriately in turn lanes. When waiting to turn left, keep your wheels straight and stay close to the center yellow line. This will help you prevent being rear-ended into oncoming traffic. If you have an arrow, then your intersection is protected and you are allowed to go as long as it's green. You do not have to wait for pedestrians and other traffic, they will have to yield to you. Make sure you scan while you're waiting just to make sure there are no red light runners that you did not see. Keep your hands on the wheel as well and do not use the phone while waiting at stops. When it turns green, go ahead and make your turn, and always take your time on all turns. Your turn should be smooth and not cut or taken too wide. Some of the turns on your test will not have lights or stop signs to help control the intersection. Look ahead early for any pedestrians on the corners or any oncoming traffic that you may have to wait for. Be ready to wait behind the intersection or time your turn. If there's no pedestrians and just one car coming, you should inch forward slowly into the middle of the intersection and without stopping, turn right off the bumper of the silver car. The driver here should have pulled forward a little bit and tried that. However, he was safe and waited behind the intersection instead, only because he reached it a little too soon. As you finish any turn, be sure to look up the road and see if there are any dips, people, cars, animals, or bumps that you may have to look out for. On some left turns, there are two lanes turning left at the same time. It's important that you use your smog rules before getting into your lane. Choose the appropriate lane for where you're going next. If your next turn is going to be a left turn, choose the left lane. If it's a right turn, choose the right left turn lane. Look up early and make sure you know if it's a red or green light, protected or unprotected. If it's red, be prepared to stop one car length distance behind the car in front of you. You should barely be able to see his tires touching the ground. This intersection happens to be protected. When it turns green, we can go. However, we need to make sure that we stay in our lane the entire way through the turn. Make sure you check for red light runners before you go, and be sure not to veer into the other lane as you turn. There may be other vehicles who do not know the rules, and even though we're protected, we need to make sure that they aren't going to go in front of us. This truck is stopped, so we don't need to worry here. If you look ahead, the car in front of us is making a lane change, which means he picked the wrong turn lane. He could have avoided making that lane change had he picked the left turn lane ahead of time.